Good morning, everybody. Iggy here. And my little troll friend. Hey, what's up? Anyways, good morning, everyone. I hope you're all having a good Saturday morning. It's good to be here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you're enjoying your coffee, your tea, your water, whatever you're doing. I wanted to just kind of say good morning again. Like third time I've said that now. The reason for my post today is because I like to share what's on my mind. That's why it's called the Mind of Iggy. Boy, there's a lot to share. There's been a lot of things happening this week, let alone just the last 48 hours, 24 hours. Just everything that's going on in this country right now. And just this country, and I'm not even talking about the world. I'm talking about just here. You know, we are struggling to some degree. And good morning, Jennifer. How are you? We're struggling to find some kind of balance, some type of harmony. Some of us may have already done that. I'm not saying that I haven't, but I'm just aware, of some situations and some things that I find very fascinating, very interesting. I find how we could be separated very quickly in our thinking and our support of things. One day, we see a tragedy in the news where someone loses their life. And before we may have been pro-cop, hey, yeah, we love the police. And then all of a sudden, we're no longer pro-cop. We're no longer, this. So when I post what I post, it's not that I'm anti-police. It's more about, can we do it differently? Is there justice? Some of you would say, no, that was the right choice, blah, 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 blah. That's your opinion, that's your choice, that's your right. And then there are some of you just totally no, that's the way it was. He should have used a taser. He should have used, Granted, I did say in a lot of my posts that none of us were there. None of us were able to actually assess the situation. We can only assess it from the angles and the pictures and the cameras and the videos that we watch on TV, most of us. So I find it very fascinating how so quickly we could be separated and divided on topics, and how quickly we can move into the energy and out of the energy, flow back in and out. And sometimes I get stuck in that energy. Now, I don't want to get stuck in the energy that cops are bad, because just like you and me, there are good people and there are some questionable characters. Okay? Some of you would call them bad. But I'm sure that most of the time we're not out to do harm to other people. The majority of the time. Now, some of you will agree with that statement. Some of you won't. Some of you will go, oh no, there's guys out there who they're just killers. They just want to kill people. I've never been a police officer, so I cannot say what it's like to be a cop and to walk into a situation in a dark alley or anything, or pull somebody over and, just the risks go up very quickly. And granted, most of the time, if you get pulled over, I've been pulled over, you don't know what to do. You're kind of nervous. You're kind of triggered. And not that you did anything wrong. It's just we have this thing implanted in our head, our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, and all the things that we watch and all the things that people tell us that cops are this way or that way. So we start to play this game inside of our head of what police are like. And, it's kind of, maybe that's what they want. Maybe that's how they want you to feel. They want you to feel unedged, uneasy. Now, the more you learn about cops, they're just like you and me. But sometimes they make stupid mistakes. They make errors. And then sometimes, maybe it wasn't a stupid mistake. Maybe it wasn't a stupid error. Maybe it was just plain out abuse of power and corruption. And somebody who just wanted to kill somebody. No one will say that. No one will. Most people just, they pick a side and they stick to it. And that's kind of how the world's been for a while. The world's been that way. You either like this guy or you hate this guy. There's nothing that you can like about somebody. There's nothing that you like. There is nothing that you can align with because they have this way of thinking, that way of thinking. You know, I just recently found out that NASA was actually started by Nazis. All the Germans that we brought, here to the United States after the war were the ones who helped create and build that. I would have never known that if someone hadn't told me and I dug a little deep and figured out in that. It's kind of interesting, right? Do we give people a pass because they're smart and intelligent? They create things? Who do you think developed and created the atomic bomb? If you do your research, you'll find the answers are there. But that's the thing. We align ourselves into these categories, into these groups, and then we believe that that's the way it is for some of us, not all of us. But for those of us who are able to think outside the box a little bit and go, wow, maybe it's not that way. Maybe I'm just seeing it that way because it feels that way. Maybe there's more to the story. And yeah, there is more to the stories. Absolutely there is. I'm not here to say that this person or that person, is right or wrong. But I am to say that once you're judged by, a group of your peers in court and they find you guilty, well, most likely you're probably guilty. I was really shocked to see how people responded. That some of this police officer was found guilty. They were just like, I read some stuff, and it's not news people on my page. This is just like the stream that comes through from the news media, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. People really think this way, huh? Yeah, they do. They really do. They really think that, the minorities are, something's wrong with us. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm a minority. Not because I was born minority. It's just because someone labeled me minority. Somebody gave me that tag because that's the only way that they can identify us, because we're different than the other group of people that are called whites or Caucasians. But then if you ever look at your applications when you sign up, it has a whole list of stuff. Your ethnicity, your race, and my son pointed out to me, he's like, so which one am I? Shit, just check all of them. Because most of us are all Heinz 57s. I'm a Heinz 57. As much as indigenous I am and native I am from Peru, I also have some Spanish blood. I have some Irish blood. I have some African blood. Damn, man, I'm a little bit of everybody. Today I'm going to be Native American. Oh, shit, tomorrow I'm going to be Spanish, The next day I might be Italian because I'm Italian. Oh, yeah, I might as well pick some Norwegian today. But if we don't, that's the problem. We label in this world. We label. There's no fixed, we label everything. Even the gender roles labels. And who created that? The gender roller? The people who are those, or feel who they are those? No. That's science. That's doctors. That's politics. Society labels you. And then you have to live those labels. I had a conversation with my son, and he's gay. And I told him about that. I said, he goes, what do you guys? It's because I come from that old school. When we say, oh, you guys, doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It means just you, in general. Why do you label yourselves? Why do you give yourself all these nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, whatever you want to call it? Why? It's because we want to distinguish. And, I would rather be called human being, a human. Whom. Let's take man out of it. Let's just call me whom. I'm going to be a whom, okay? But we label. That's fucking problem, man. We label everybody. You're white, you're black, you're Hispanic, you're a cop, you're not a cop, you're a military, you're gay, you're bisexual, you're lesbian, you're a unicorn, you're pan, whatever. We label everybody. No wonder we have problems. No wonder we have these issues, because we label ourselves into these categories and we pigeonhole ourselves into these belief systems, and then we create these cultures within these belief systems. And then we pigeonhole other people in there. We call them racists, supremacists, evangelicals, Christians, Muslims, Chinese, Peruvian. We label everybody. Now, maybe I'm wrong. But it seems to be that when we label, we separate. So when you label people, you separate them, right? I would think so. Why can't you just be human? Well, I'm proud of my heritage. I'm proud of where I come from. I'm proud of... I understand that. So am I. And some things I'm not proud of. I'm not proud of part of my heritage that destroyed and annihilated a whole bunch of people and killed millions of people, more people than any time in history. But they're still my family. They're still my line. They're still my generation. They still blow. Their blood comes through my body. Now, I know this is a topic we could talk about all day long. I get that. But when we label everybody, well, no wonder we have problems. You know? No wonder families have to say to their kids, hey, you are an extinct whatever, you know? Or you are intelligent because you are this. Or you are because of this. It's, you know, it's called programming. We program our children from a young age. If you do not have children, then you have nieces and nephews, and you help in the programming by aligning yourself with that programming or your family or brothers and sisters program. So that's what I'm trying to say. So it's not about trying to be different. It's trying about understanding that we are individuals in the scheme of everything. A child probably would never know that they were black. A child would probably never know they were white. A child would never know that they were probably yellow, purple, or green unless we brought it up and said, hey, you know what? You are yellow, purple, and green. Now, the reality is we should be afraid. We should be on guard because that's where the state of America, that's what the state of the world is right now. That if you don't belong to this group or that group, you know what? You can get into a lot of problems. All right, so, and my son was like, yeah, that's a pretty interesting conversation. We had a great conversation. Did he agree with me? Did I disagree with him? Argue with him? No, probably not. We probably came to a mutual place of understanding that I grew up in the 70s. I grew up, born 60s, 70s, growing up in the 70s and 80s as a child, young teenager. And, you know, my thinking is going to be a lot different. My experiences of the world are going to be a lot different. You know, my experiences of how I see things is going to be way different than his. And, you know, not to take away from mine or his, that's just the way it is. There's nothing that we can do. I think humans just have this innate thing inside them that just, it's like, you know, it's empathic energy. It's, you know, we just know when something is in the right place or not the wrong. You know, we just know. We just inherently know. You know, you can tell when someone's not doing right, or when someone's is not a good person. We have it inside of us, and I think that's what happens. We trigger and we snap onto that. Now, you know, the current events is very, you know, the media really controls a lot what we see. The media really dictates what is fed to us. And, you know, what is fed to us is very powerful. The question is, when you watch this and when you read this, or you listen to the media, the news, are you, and I'm being honest, and, you know, hear me out. Do you believe what you're hearing? Is it truth for you? Because I'm going to tell you, for a lot of people, what the media says is truth. What science says is truth. What God says is truth. I'm here to tell you that all truths are half-truths. Part of what you're hearing is truth and part of it not. Even what I'm saying is a half-truth because part of you does not believe what I'm saying. Part of you has filter systems that will say, I like Iggy, but I don't agree with all he says. And that's perfect. That's great because that's the way it should be. You should question what goes out of my mind. because you have your own mind. And if you allow other people just to ride your mind and let that information just process and be the truth, then where's your truth? Unless you surrender the truth that you hear, that's what you want to embrace, then that's different. Many people question God. The God that, the Christian God, the Jewish God, etc., etc. I'm going to give you my version of my God in my mind. God is just not one creation. Because if we scientifically study how the universe was created, it was a big bang. That means two opposing forces had to meet someplace in the middle, big or small. Some say it was the size of a speck. And these two specks exploded, and they keep exploding and keep exploding, keep exploding. And throughout the universe, God's experiencing the fusion of one God, one version is experiencing multiple billions and quadrillions of realities. My version of God is very loving, very caring, very endearing, not jealous, not angry, not spiteful, not asking me to pray to them, only to them. Thou shalt not pray to any other God. That's not my God, because that sounds more like a human being. Asking of a command, asking, why would God even have to feel that way? You really have to think about this. Why would God give us free will? To cop out so God doesn't have to worry about anything, so he can just watch from above in his high throne? I don't know. But I do know a vengeful, wrathful God, and a God who would say, go kill those people and kill these people and do this and do that. That's not my God. I was raised Christian, I was raised Catholic, and I have a lot of questions, even though I pray and I watch. And some of you are going to get burnt and pissed probably, but I would never send my son to the cross. I would never put him up there to prove that that's the way he came to save our skin. That's, to me, something wrong there. Now, believe me, I trust and believe in the Trinity, the Holy Trinity. Yeah, I believe in it because there's power there. There's something there. But I think it's misconstrued and misused. These are the things I think about sometimes. Why in the heck, if you're the all supreme, almighty, all powerful, why would you do that? To everyone, not just me, to everything. Because I think we have the wrong idea of God. I'm learning more and more each day just because I step into different venues and different genres of thinking and different points of view and try to make a collective read on that. Now, you can believe whatever you want. I'm not here to change your beliefs. I'm just here to say, hey, I don't see God that way. I don't see God creating a hell to punish you because you got it wrong. Well, to begin with, you created me. So you made a flawed vessel. You made a flawed creation. Because if you're perfect, then part of me is perfect. But if I'm part of you, then part of you is not perfect. There's some imperfection in your creation. There's some imperfection in who you are or what you are as a creator. Could it be that just maybe, everything in the universe is happening simultaneously? No time, no space, no nothing. That it's just a creation of an idea, of a thought, of a consciousness that we've helped create. So technically, if we didn't want to live the way we live, we could create and change this. We could change all this. We really could. If we empowered ourselves to see the world differently. If we were empowered to see ourselves differently. If we empowered ourselves to express the true feelings and emotions of how we feel about things. And there is beautiful things in religion. And there are also some things that are questionable. We will never really truly know the true answer. But in our hearts, we know things. We feel things. We have this sixth sense of sorts that we know and we feel and we understand that what we're reading sometimes is not in alignment with what a true loving God would do or ask of its creation. You know? I really believe that we could be abundant because that's our choice, right? We can also be very poor because that's our choice. We can be very whatever we want to be. But my God, and I meet him every day, I meet her every day, is looking at another human being and watching their suffering, watching their joy, watching their pain. Because they are part of the creation. They are part of the splinters of the universe. They're God expressing itself in massive ways. So even if you hate somebody and don't like somebody, that's a part of you. That's a part of us, because we're all come from the cosmic goo. All of it, every single one of us. To the most hateful, demonic human being on this planet, to the most loving, charity-giving woman or man or child on this planet. We are all part of them. But yet we are all separate, and to an extent, but we're not separate. We are and we're not. We think we're separate because we don't see them or we don't engage with them or we don't talk to them. But just the presence of someone on that level or on this timeline, we feel that. Even the presence of someone who's already dead on the timeline of years ago, you still feel their presence. You can read a book about them and you can feel that presence. You can feel that energy. So it's super important what we put into our heads, what we listen to, who we read, what we read, who we hang out with, what we're creating, what we're saying, what our truth is. When I try to speak about what's in my head, I try to encompass the belief that it's mine. That I'm not here to tell you how to feel. I'm only telling you how I feel. Because if I'm feeling this way, if I have this thought creation in my mind, then you're probably feeling that way. Or others are feeling that way. Because it's so important to understand that we all have feelings and emotions. We all have our beliefs. But then sometimes it's just have to listen to that one little phrase, that one little tweak in the conversation that will bring you to the understanding of what another human being is actually feeling. Why do we stay in relationships that don't work or dysfunctional? There are many answers to that. Sometimes we're waiting for that little tweak, that little voice, that little thing. And sometimes we're just stupid. And sometimes we're just hopeful that things will work out. And then sometimes we just have to ride it to its end. And then sometimes we don't have answers. But anyhow, there's a lot of things going on in the world, like I said in the beginning of this show. And one of the things that really bothers me is how the pedophilia thing got just thrown under the rug. There are a lot of children, a lot of women, men, trafficked. These are things for another topic, probably because I'm running out of time here, but those things make me wonder, make me say, why would we want to experience humanity that in that fashion, that form? Why do we want to harvest little children's organs or women or men's organs? Who's using this stuff? Because, if you ever notice, there was a time where it was really rare and you had to be on a list to get an organ transplant. All of a sudden, there just seems to be a lot of organs everywhere. There seems to be like an abundance. That's what makes me think about things. And I'll get on a different topic about that, but that will be a show. A full-blown show. I'll bring someone on who has been trafficked and who was in slavery, human slavery. I have several friends And their stories are very heartbreaking. And the way they escaped it, it's very, very heroic, but very dangerous, and they're very fortunate to be alive. All right, guys. I will see you later on another time. But here in the Mind of Iggy, just trying to process the perceived realities of life and the things that are thrown in front of us. Me and Trollskins here, just jamming it out. You know? All right, guys. Love you very much. Ho'oponopono matakuyasin. What is above is below. Namaste. Have a great, great day. And I will see you guys soon. Irisikwi. It's good to be here. Yes, it is. Aho. Till next time, with the Mind of Iggy, I'll see you soon.